Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. Okay, so this is what I came home with today. I saw it just sitting there. I couldn't stomach just seeing it where it was being left and what they were doing to it. I asked the person, you know, what have you got in store for that? And they basically got it given it for free, and they got told it had been cracked open. So for the previous owner, they would never have got any, you know, life out of this thing. It would have probably ended up in the bin. So I saw it there and I thought, you know, I like that. I know what that is. So we worked out a deal, dropped a few dollars off the job of the price, and I ended up taking it home. Now, just a note here, this is 212 kilos. So the good thing about it was the place actually had some very large blokes working there. In fact, 4 Kiwi blokes had to help put this in the back of the vehicle, and they kind of struggled with it because it's heavy. And I'll give you some specs on it. So just to start off with, so this is a CMI, which is an Australian safe company made in Australia. Model number SLSA-D. Deposit slot on the top here is 25 by 125 mil. So that's this part here, 100 by 125 mil. Now that's just not your normal deposit slot. That goes in quite a bit. So you need to get something in there to push it down. And then you can see it's got like a trap at the back there. So that's pretty cool. And it's even got a little bit of a serrated edge down there as well. Yeah, I really do like this brand. We sold quite a number of this type of safe and the Home Guard and other models. This is the first time I actually had this model. So it was good to kind of check it out. Now the way I got it's like this. It's got a few scratches. I mean, I could give it a repaint, make it look new, as you see here. But, you know, that's just adds to the character. I wouldn't bother with that. I will be putting a new lock on it, but so that's one thing I will be doing. The insurance rating on this one here is up to $20,000 insurable rating. So pretty much you put 20,000 bucks in here, and if they manage to get the money out, then the insurance company would be happy to pay out. And to be honest with you, I reckon you put 100 there on this thing. This thing's an absolute tank and a brick. I'll take you over some of the specs and some of the features it's got and some of the reasons I like it just in a moment. Now the sizes internal, we're looking 355 mil by 280 mil by 220 depth. External is 580 by 413 by 385. So let's just check that's on the money. So 410, yep, it's on the money. Height wise, 575. Well, they said 580. Yep, that's on the money. Depth wise, 385. Yep, so that's on the money. Now the internal size, as you can see, has lost a lot of room on here, mainly because of these walls. These walls are thick. You know, we're talking look at that, 65 mil of wall. The door itself, we're missing the back pan here, so I'm going to have to sort one of them out. But just the door itself, what's that, 10 mil? Yeah, that's 10 mil. 10 mil steel door. Somebody's had a little go at it here with a hacksaw or an angle grinder, and they didn't get very far. It's got this stripping here, probably for smoke or whatnot, to create a good seal, and somebody's left the bolts out, and it's just hit those two, just as you can see there. A little bit disturbing, a little bit upsetting, but you know, I can live with that, and they're not badly out of whack, so that's not going to cause any trouble. It could be cleaned up, sure, it could be cleaned up a lot better, but I'm not too worried about it. I think I'll just put a new lock on it, and that's all that I'd kind of do with it. Now, going price for this safe is about $2,000. That's the side of it. So it's about $2,000, and then you probably pay about anywhere from $250 to $500 to have it installed, depending on what will be necessary. But I want to show you what's happening here. Look at these hinges. Look at those hinges. Even if you tried to cut them off, you're not going to be able to get it open because you've got dog bolts on the inside. But those hinges are solid. They're ball bearing hinges, and they are adjustable too down the bottom. We did lose one of the ball bearings in transit, but you know, doesn't matter. I'll just order another ball bearing. The actual lock itself, dual 9-volt battery, Legard I believe it is, and that just clips back on there. Not sure how good it is or what the code is, but I'm going to have to do some research and see if I can clean that lock up. And if I can't clean it up, then I'm just going to replace it. Now the actual sticker on it here says time delay. This particular model Lagarde. I'm not sure if it does have time delay. It doesn't have the 9-volt battery on the front, so if the batteries go dead you have to go purchase a couple. I'm not sure if you can get the code out of it or if you can reset it. I'll have to do my research on that. Looking at the inside of the door, now I'm pretty happy with what I see on the inside. So it just looks like a 2 dog bolts, 2 bolts, and your lock is here and all the rest. But when I put my finger around here, I can feel there's a piece of glass in there. So they got a piece of glass. I wasn't able to identify the relocker, and I can see an additional footprint if you wish to put something there as well. So it's definitely not a bad system. It's made extremely well. The bolts are adjustable, as you can see in there. It probably needs some lubrication, some cleanup, as I can see the dust. The grease has taken on dust there because that's just where it's been stored. Now it does come with 1 shelf. There is positions there for 2 shelves, but it does come with 1 shelf. I didn't get the shelf. It also comes with these holes at the bottom here for mounting. So they're like almost 20mm Dynabolts you put through there. So they look really good. The inside of it's extremely clean. The outside of it's got some scratches and you know, needs a little bit of work. You can see down here, I'd be saying a good degrease, a degrease and a regrease, and a new lock. I mean, this lock I could even get going, but you're better off just putting the latest lock on. They don't cost that much, and if it fails, this is going to be a nightmare of a safe to open. So that's what I picked up today. As you can see, it's been moved by a few other people, and you know, the actual combination got knocked a little bit when we're kind of taking it home, but I'm not too worried about it as far as the lock goes, because that'll clean up. The handles nice and robust. The mechanism on it inside, as you can see, it's welded in position. It's marked there as well. Got our hex heads. The cable here I can see is coming out a little bit, so that's very interesting. I need to find out what they've done. Now, I got told they cracked this safe. I said, what are you doing that? And he goes, oh, it's been cracked. And I thought, okay, that's interesting, cracked. How do you crack a digital safe? That's interesting, because I know it can be done, but the methods I know how to do it is not what I'm seeing here. So if you know how they've cracked this open, let me know, because I think somebody's had it open, tried to mess around with it, and it stayed open and unlocked since. I mean, they've taken this open, sure. There's no holes at the back. It's not like you can manipulate this thing. They had to have had the door open to do anything to it. But he says, yeah, it's been cracked. When I look at this, there's no way they got in or did anything against a digital Lagarde lock to get this open via that thing. You know, you can't even go in through this deposit slot here. The deposit slot is deep. You need something, just a big ruler to push everything back, and then it goes down a slant down the back here. So that's a good, you know, 80mm there, and that's another 80mm. I'll tell you exactly, actually. Okay, 100mm, 80mm. So it's 180mm. It goes in, comes down, drops into a little box or basket. So you're not going to be able to get much out of that in any time soon. So I'd recommend this for this type of safe. I would say somewhere with high cash. If you're turning over 10 to 20 grand a day, I'd be putting cash in something like this. I could even be, I'd be happy enough to say if it's bolted down, mounted right, hidden, you could store a lot more into it, and no one can get this out in a hurry. Even as a locksmith, I know what's involved in this. So yeah, all I need is a new lock, a bit of coat of paint, another ball bearing, and maybe I'll weld this up as well and just touch it up, and she'll come up like new. Now if you do want one like this, we do sell for the CMI, the manufacturer, as well. We've sold many a safes. Basically, go onto our website, you can order. We'll just get the factory to make it, and then we'll get the delivery guy to come out, deliver it, bolt it in. We don't do any of the bolting in. It's 212 kilo. So they come along, they bolt it in properly, they do it all properly. So if you do want one of these, let me know, or go to our website, you can order from there. But this is an Australian brand, CMI, and it's definitely a good brand. You know, very, very nice safe. And I picked it up for $100. And it's, for me, I just see the value in it. You can't go wrong with something like this. I got no money to store in it, but you know, I'll clean it up and, you know, just enjoy cleaning it up and put it aside, and when the time's right I'll sell it on or use it for something. But It was just too good to let go, and that's why I thought I'd give you guys a look at it. Yeah, it's got some scrapes. It's got some scrapes. This is hammer tone. It's definitely it's got a few scrapes, but the thing about stock like this is it's not going to go off. It's not going to go out of date. It's not going to rust. It's not going to change. In 20 years time, this thing is still going to look just the same as it does now and still operate the same. I've seen old people with safes like this. They buy one safe, 30-40 years later they're still using it, still working strong, doing everything it's meant to be doing. So invest in a good safe. It's not going to do you any harm, and it's definitely be worth it. Something like this from CMI, especially if you're in Australia, definitely good. I couldn't let this go. I thought to myself, the person's just going to let it sit there, and when you got something nice like this, it's well worth keeping it tidy and restoring it, because it is what it is. It's just a really strong box. So leave your comments down below, tell us what you think, and if you know anything about this particular lock, if it's got time delay or not, or how do you reset the factory code, let me know, because I'm going to have to start pulling that apart and seeing if I can get this to factory reset, or I might even have to send it off or order a new one. I might even just put a new one on. We'll see how we go with that. Okay, thanks for watching.